Today, we'd like to share with you what we think is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to determine whether your paved road network is improving or declining year to year. It's based on what we call the remaining service life concept, outlined in this FHWA publication titled A Quick Check of Your Highway Network Health. And it helps us calculate the new service life being added to a road network based on different pavement management work programs. So why do we recommend road owners use this remaining service life tool? Well, there are lots of reasons why, but let me give you my top three. First, it's very quick and easy to use. You can do the calculation using an online interactive calculator, which I'm going to show you today. You can do it with a simple Excel spreadsheet, which I'm also going to show to you. Or heck, you can do it on the back of a napkin because it's that simple. And despite its simplicity, it offers us a very powerful yet concise tool that road managers can use to communicate with their stakeholders and share network condition trends. And third, if a pavement management program is being underfunded, as we often see, it can help justify increasing the budget. The logic behind the remaining service life concept is this. Just like each of us, every mile of road in a highway network loses 1 year of service life every year. Unfortunate, but true. So a 100-mile network, a fairly typical town road network here in the Northeast, loses 100 mile years of service life every year. And if we want the average condition rating of our network not to decline, then our annual work program must add at least 100 mile years of new service life. To best illustrate the power of this concept, let's go through a couple of examples using the interactive calculator on the roadresource.org website. And a word of caution here. To get the most accurate results from this or any of the interactive calculators on the roadresource.org website, you should take a little time to create your own account at that site. By setting up an account, you're then allowed to customize the database of unit costs and life expectancies for each treatment to match the cost and service lives applicable to your region of the country. The site is pre-populated with national averages from 4 or 5 years ago, and those numbers aren't very accurate for many parts of the country today. This is the interactive calculator, and once we have the unit costs and life expectancies for the various treatments used in our area built into our database, all we need to do is plug in the miles of roads in our network, and this is set up to use lane miles instead of centerline miles so that it's capable of analyzing networks with multi-lane highways. Plug in our average lane width, including shoulders, and then our pavement management budget. For this example, we'll use a 100 centerline mile network of all 2-lane roads, so 200 lane miles with an average paved width of 12 feet and a budget of an even $1 million. For our first example, let's assume we're a community that spends most of our budget responding to the squeaky wheel constituents who complain about poor roads. And this is often referred to as a worst-first pavement management approach. We'll start off this annual work program by doing 6 lane miles of 1.5 to 2 inch deep mill and fill, sort of the go-to treatment for a lot of communities when roads start to get a little rough. That treatment costs about $14 a square yard in this area with a life extension in the 10 to 12 year range. And we're using 12 years here. So that adds 72 lane mile years of new life into our network. Next, we'll do 2 lane miles of unstabilized full depth reclamation, or FDR as it's commonly called, to fix a really bad road. And that process costs about $25 or $26 a square yard in this area. And because it's unstabilized, it only lasts an average of about 15 years. So with those 2 lane miles of work, we inject another 30 lane mile years of new life into our network. With a few dollars we have left after fixing those poor roads, we'll spend the remaining budget on 14 lane miles of crack seal with a life extension of about 2 years. And please understand that that doesn't mean the crack seal itself only lasts 2 years. What it means is that by crack sealing, we add about 2 years of new life to the entire surface area of the roadway. And with that treatment, we add another 28 lane mile years of new life to the network. Let's see what the net result of that work program is. You can see we spent about 95% of our budget on Worstfirst, bottom of the curve rehab and reconstruction work, and only 5% on preservation. And look what happens when we do that. We had a 70 lane mile year loss of network life, meaning the average pavement condition declined. And we only touched 11% of all the roads. You can get away with that an occasional year here or there, but if it becomes the trend over multiple years, the community will suffer from widespread network deterioration. By letting a bunch of good roads decay without proper preventative maintenance and putting most of our money into bad roads, we dig ourselves a deeper and deeper hole that will be very costly to get out of. Let's use the interactive remaining service life calculator to try a different approach, a more preservation-oriented approach. Rather than start off by spending the vast majority of our $1 million budget on bad roads, let's try plugging in a few miles of each of a few pavement preservation treatments designed to protect our earlier paving investments. We'll keep some of our better roads in good condition with things like crack seal, fog seal, chip seal, microsurfacing, and cape seal, as you see here, and then spend the remainder of our budget on some poorer roads, doing some mill and fill and FDR. And let's see how those results compare to the previous example. And there you have it. By spending about 62% of our budget on preservation instead of just 5% as we did in the first example, we were able to achieve a net gain in network service life. We added 211 lane mile years of new life with our program. The network lost 200 lane mile years of life, as it does every year. And the bottom line is an 11 lane mile year net gain. Also impressive with this work program is that we touched 23%, or almost a quarter of the network, with some kind of treatment. So the taxpayers saw crews out there working on a lot of their roads. So that's the remaining service life concept, and I hope you find it useful as a quick annual check of how your road network is doing, and also as a tool to maybe stretch your budget farther, or maybe even convince your budget folks that you're underfunded. You can check out the interactive calculator at roadresource.org if you haven't already, or if you prefer, you can try using this one we built on our Indus website. You can see this version doesn't have any budgets or costs, and is simply a quick calculation of new network life injected as a result of an actual or planned work program. Thank you again for watching, and if you have any questions about any of the network optimization tools on our Indus website or on roadresource.org, please contact your Indus regional manager.